I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're diving into the chilling depths of Slayer. It's a remarkable book written by R W Madson, a gripping novel where moral ambiguity meets a darkly thrilling narrative. In Brooklyn Heights, a genius serial killer targets ultra-conservative homosexuals, sparking a high-stakes game of cat and mouse with law enforcement. This tale of lust, revenge, and redemption is as provocative as it is haunting. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank our team for helping us put him in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support writers like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing this thrilling thriller of a book. The links are below the interview. Ron, great to see you here today on Spotlight.
Good to see you.
Tell us a little bit about why you decided to explore such dark themes and characters in Slayer, and why you chose Brooklyn Heights as its setting.
Well, I chose Brooklyn Heights because I live in Brooklyn Heights, and it's a fairly well-to-do neighborhood. Has become extremely well-to-do since I moved in 40 years ago. Mm-hmm. The Slayer's house is a real house. Yeah. And it's a real place in the Heights that I've always loved and wish I could own. So that's how that came about. Gotcha. The reason for the book was there are many levels. I was very active in gay politics in the 80s and 90s. Mm-hmm. And when we hit the pandemic, there was a lot of time to think about different things. And also at the same time, there was all these political moves to eliminate gay rights, basically. And what really always drove me nuts were gay people who, I won't call them gay, homosexual people who were willing to play in the community, but did not defend the community. And in fact, supported some of these terrible laws coming up. And so I had this idea that for a book, it would be a great idea to have someone specifically target the ultra-conservatives. And that started it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's give the folks at home an overview of your story. Tell them a little bit about Slayer.
Well, it's the story of an unusual serial killer who is more than what he appears to be. The first chapter, he performs a murder in a unique kind of way. And then that leads into the murder investigation, of course, with the police. And that leads to the story about two gay men who have fallen in love. And the sister of one of them is the lead in the investigation of the policeman, of the killer. The killer, I go back and forth early on with the killer's life in Europe, in Sicily, and give some of his background and family. And as we go through the story, there's this back and forth between Europe and the United States, back and forth between acts of violence and acts of love. And back and forth between good and evil. And what does that mean? Because the character through the story reveals more than just being evil.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the relationship between the police lieutenant and the gay reporter is a pivotal part of the story. Tell us a little bit about how you developed this dynamic and what it represents in the broader context of the story.
Well, the sister of the gay reporter is in love with the brother of the sister, who's the policeman. the policewoman, I should say. And they develop a relationship because the the reporter is interested in reporting on these series of murders, and particularly these really horrific ones that are going on. And she elicits his help in order to gain a foothold into the gay community, because they're going nowhere with the investigation. And the gay community in general is reluctant to participate with the police. And so that she figures out that her brother's friend would be able to get an intro, since he's a reporter, and people would be more open to talk to him and help track down who they think this person is.
Yeah. Have you envisioned this as a movie or a series? When I was reading it with the visuals and the locations and the characters, it really felt like it had cinematic tones to me.
Well, that's probable. I, for many years, was a painter, and so I'm very visual. And in my writings in general, I'm very visual. I'm in a memoir writing class, and I put a lot of visual details in it. And so, as you know, in terms of movie and so forth, some of the pieces would not be filmable. But I've been told that by a couple of my readers already, that it's very cinematic.
Yeah.
That wasn't in mind when I did it, but that's
right. But it's a great story. It's got great visuals. It's got great characters, and it's very unique and original too. So I think it would definitely play well in the theater. So Hollywood, if you're listening, this would be a great movie or series. That's for sure. Are you thinking about writing any other books or a sequel, perhaps? Tell us about what's
Well, it's part of a trilogy.
It is part of a trilogy, okay.
Right. And the second book is completed. The third book is completed, but not re-edited. So that is waiting.
Okay, what's the book 2 called?
Book 2 is called Victor.
Victor, okay. And do you have a working title for book 3 yet?
Yes, it's either Elio or Elio's family. I haven't decided on that yet.
Sounds great.
It's 3 characters from the book, the Slayer being the first character, and you really don't find out his name till about a third into the book, and there's a reason for that. And Victor is, well, I don't want to give it away. So.
Yeah, don't give too much away, for sure. Big themes in the book are bigotry, addiction, revenge. Tell us how important it was to have these elements within the pages of your book.
Well, it was the bigotry part was the genesis for the book, right. And the reason why I put in the drug addiction was the character who is having that problem is portrayed pretty much as a great guy all along, and I needed to give him flaws. And I thought that would be a perfect thing. As you know, it's set, his getting addicted is part of his army experience. And so that fit in with the theme of what is good and what is evil, what is, how people are much more complex.
Yeah.
Than,
it's not black or white. It's in the gray where most of us dwell, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Tell us a little bit about writing this book. Did it just kind of flow? Was it a struggle at times? Tell us about the writing process.
It flowed. The first chapter, I knew exactly how it was going to go. I had written part of that chapter for a magazine. It had been published, and I just adapted that into the first chapter. And I wanted the first chapter, as my friends sometimes would say, it was very disconcerting and disturbing. And I wanted it to be that.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to grab the people right away and say, this guy's really horrible.
Right.
Wait,
Yeah. Exactly. grab them with the first chapter. Perhaps they'll keep on reading throughout. So I think that is powerful. And it is a powerful opening chapter that you have written. The name of the book is called Slayer. It's by R W Madson. The novel is a labyrinth of human emotions and societal reflections, masterfully penned to challenge and captivate. Ron, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Pleasure's all mine. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight. And don't forget to pick up Slayer. The links are below this interview. You're going to love it.